kill everyone.
that you were just watching is on civil protection work and transfer fighting. I kind of want to explain the word civil to you real quick, because I don't know that really people know what that means, or just the average watcher. Civil means really when the dog is not interested in any type of equipment. The dog will go aggressive on a human being with no type of training equipment, so they don't have a stick, they don't have anything. They'll just show aggression and fight a live target. And that's really how we can define civil for you. Because it's kind of confusing because you think it means like civil, as like civil, like the dog civilized, but it actually means really the opposite almost. The reason why I'm holding the leash very tightly with Zion, although he is an executive level protection dog, is for the safety of the people. You gotta understand, when you have a civil dog, you now have a dog that's very dangerous, and it's, as much as it's a game and you're doing things when you're training, it's a very deadly game that can turn ugly real quick. So you gotta be careful of certain things. So the reason for why we have a leash on him, and he actually is wearing 2 collars, a harness and a collar, are for safety measures, because a dog like this, if, as you can see, when second he bites the leg and we out him and he goes away, I mean, the dog is instantly still focused. You know, same thing, the second he bites the arm and you slip the jacket off and the dog has the jacket, he's not like most dogs you see. They'll hold the jacket, they'll shake it up, they're pleased with the jacket, and that's their reward. No, this dog is 100% focused on the man, and that's the difference between a true man-stopping protection dog and a sport dog. Hold on a minute, yeah. I couldn't help it. So yes, that is why the dog is wearing a leash in this video, because you'll also notice Jeff is leaning back, because when the dog is on the leg, unlike what I just said, most dogs will slip the sleeve off and they're pleased with the sleeve. They run around and they don't want nothing to do with any person. They got the sleeve, that's all they care. Zion doesn't want anything to do with it, as you can tell. He's landing in the soup, doesn't care about any of that. He wants to bite for real, and that's Zion. That's what he wants. I went into a little bit of detail about transfer biting. This kind of really just kind of shows you it in more of a civil setting. I mean, I pretty much explained most everything to you about transfer biting. I mean, it's really not that complicated, you know, how it works. The dog just understands that there's a weapon present, or that harm can come from above or from the side, so the dog doesn't fall in love with one area to bite. Which, you know, a lot of sport dogs, that's how they're taught. They're taught to just hit one area and hold it there. You know, our dogs are taught to hold one area, but only if you're not fighting. If you start fighting, then the dogs are taught to engage you in any way that they can and protect themselves at all costs. And if you have a weapon, by all means, they need to be aware of it, at least by our standard. Most dogs that are out there, really, it's the truth, most dogs that are out there are more sport-oriented dogs. You're probably looking at a 15% if that, you know, people that are really training real dogs. Because to a certain extent, you know, people are right. Most people don't need that much firepower. You know, it's maybe 95% of the time, you know, nobody's going to go past a barking dog, which is a deterrent, you know, so that was painful. I didn't see that bomb, so I was talking to you guys. But 95% of the time, nobody's gonna go past the barking dog. But if you're like me, and you're like a lot of other people, 95% just isn't enough. And for me and the safety of my family, 95% is not gonna cut it. So that's why we have civil dogs around. That's why we train civil dogs and very real dogs. That's right, Jordan. That's right. Go work some dogs, right? That's right. So, yep, here we are. That's all she wrote for the day. Hope you enjoyed the video. More will be coming. I myself have to get to work.